very heavy demand in the market. People are looking for this, people who are certified in FI load balancer. There is a flight is going on, it's near my home. So, okay. So F5 has got, FI has been in the industry for long, near about 10 years, more than 10 years also they've been here. And let me share my screen. Okay, I'll share the screen. So I guess you can see the load balancer. Load balancer screen, you can see that. So to start with this load balancer, we are going to discuss about that. What is a load balancer? Why we require this? And what is the purpose of this load balancer? You know, why do we need to study about the load balancers? What will be the impact when there is no load balancer in our network? And where are the positions, where are the locations this load balancer has been used? Those are all things I would like to give it to you in this next 1 hour or maximum 1.5 hour session on this. And F5 is a company which has been started on 2000s earlier, like that. And they've been here for last 15, 18 years, they've been in the industry. And the load balancer is a network device which has to be configured either through the CLI or through the GUI, we can configure that. Mostly like FI load balancer has been given for people who will be working as an L1, they will be maintaining the logs and analysis by seeing the GUI. And when it comes under the configuration purpose or something, we'll be doing mostly on a CLI. Command line interface will be using that. And this FI load balancer has been built as a operating system, like the base operating system is a CentOS. CentOS means it's a Linux platform. And you don't need to be a Linux master to understand the load balancing concepts and other things. Because on top of the Linux, this GUI has been built so very very efficiently has been built on this. Without getting into that CLI itself, we can work on FI load balancer on this. Why so FI load balancer? There are any other load balancers that are there in the market or something? Yes, there are many load balancers there in the market. One is a Cisco, there is an ArrowPoint which was there. And another one, Citrix, there is a NetScaler is there. And Nginx has come up nowadays in the market, but Nginx has been acquired by FI itself. 2 years before they taken it. And the AWS has got its own load balancers, Azure platform has got its own load balancers, but still we are doing a lot of FI integrations with the cloud operations also. So that's what I would like to tell you, because FI knowledge is very much important even when you try to go to the cloud platform or something. Okay, so let us start with that load balancer, some other slides. Next slide. Application delivery. This is coming under the application delivery. Delivery in the sense a customer is going to talk to your network, and he is maybe like an end customer, or he may be the normal public, the person who comes from the internet. Through the internet, he tries to access your network, which has been in your corporate network. Or there is a VPN customer who is coming in with a legitimate username and password. He tries to access the valid resources inside your corporate network. Or maybe the third party, there is a person is joining, and there is a third party people who are doing a business with your own company, the corporate. Say, for example, I can just say Cisco has got so many types with the many other service providers as well. Means Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel, Spice Networks, Red Uno, AT&T, Sprint, like so many ISPs which are there in the market, they have kind of tie-ups with them. So they will be producing their equipments for those ISP backends. So for those people will be logging into the Cisco network, so they will have to come to the corporate network through certain network like that. So those scenarios, we will be start using the load balancers. I can tell you that 100% of the websites which are running in all over the internet has been, the traffic has been passing through the load balancer. Either it's an F5, or it may be a custom built, or it may be like through cloud or something. Without a load balancer, no site will be running. who are the websites people are who are making it like, when you just take it like who are the websites people are making. GoDaddy is doing one other thing, and SiteTrack something. So many companies are there. Every other company, when you go and register your domain, they will be providing you the space for to build your site or something, and they will be providing you the domain name for you. And the people, when they try to reach through your domain, in the sense, in those domain providers, they will be having the tie-up with an ISP. They will be definitely running with running with the load balancer on this. It doesn't necessarily mean that FI has to be installed, but FI is the market share, is having the lion share. I can just say it's 85% of the load balancers installed in internet, or in on-premises, or in a private companies, or in any IT companies, whichever you go for. 85% of the market share has been taken by the FI only. And we've been monitoring this FI, and I've been installing near about 300 to 400, I guess, 800 pieces of that FI boxes, appliances we've been maintaining in our network for various companies as well, various customers as well. FI, sorry, FI can be configured through the GUI, CLI, and currently it has come up with the automation skills also. Like, we can even configure the FI through the API also, application programming interface. And it can be done with a complete of automation skills as well. We can even configure the 10 to 15 FIs with the same kind of a configuration with the automation script. That has also been possible. But in this demo, I would like to show you something on CLI, and I would like to show more on GUI side only. So you can just see there are many, like, there are some lot of rounds of that. We can just start from the top. Business continuity HA. HA means high availability. Disaster recovery. We've been using the LTM, GTM, and firepower and other things. User experience and application performance. There also LTM as GTM has been used. In business continuity, we've been using the WAN virtualization, file virtualizations, DC to DC means data center to data center communications. Acceleration will be doing that. Virtualized VPN access. You will be seeing most of the things has been covered up in the every other kind of a topic which we are going to discuss on this. Means business continuity, user experience, storage growth, unified security enforcement, managing scale and consolidations, application security and data integrity. Whichever the business you are looking for, there will be the load balancer will be, it's getting installed on this. So as I told you, like, everything will be coming under the one public IP or public domain or something. So people need to access this through the public domain or an IP. So you require a load balancer. Without a load balancer, nothing, no site is even in internet is being accessed. I can just say, so for example, I can see how many people are hitting the Google daily. There will be millions and billions of people are hitting the Google daily. How Google is managing this entire network infrastructure without having the crashing down? That is due to the load balancing stuff only. Load balancers need to be configured in such a way that it will be taking up the load inside, and it will be distributing the load in between the backend to the backend servers. So when there is a query comes in from the customer, it will be picking up that information from the that particular information has been picked up. What information is looking for? Either is a HTTP access or HTTPS access, or is an FTP access, or any other application delivery accesses. Means like different port numbers we can able to configure it in FI. Means like we can configure application port number, like a dynamic port numbers also we can able to configure. We just need to create the profiles in FI to expedite those the topics on this. So talking about this all thing, like we can even configure our own load balancer with normal Linux box. It is very much possible, but how much the load it is going to take? And we will be having kind of, we have to give a lot of CPU core and the memory and other things we'll have to give. That will be taken care by the FI boxes. We will be seeing some of the model numbers in the next slides. So this is about introduction about the F5 application delivery architecture. And how to achieve these requirements. Multi-point solutions. Network administrator is sitting down and there is a more bandwidth is required more this, and how to go with the application developers on this. So if application developers are sitting down and they are doing an application development on a backend server, but that server could not able to handle all the requests which are coming up in the same time. So how do we do that? We require a load balancer for that. And a network administrator who is looking for the server with the people who are accessing, like an AD, like a Active Directory server is there, LDAP servers are there, database servers are there. how do you going to traffic? How do you going to manage the traffic? When there is a heavy traffic which is coming inside, that need to be properly balanced. That balancing load can come through load balancer configuration. So we cannot add any more infrastructures at all. Means adding the more servers and all, it is not possible. So we'll have to start doing certain algorithms which will fit into our network so that we will be balancing our loads between the servers. So FI load balancer will be the best choice for that. Next, traditional infrastructure model. You can see from the left-hand side top, there is a corporate employees and LAN and WAN, mobile employees, remote employees, branch employees, LAN and WLAN. WLAN means wireless LAN, customers and partners and suppliers, hosted applications, cloud services, closed application, corporate data centers, SaaS means the software as a service, and apps and other things which are in the backend. What this person is thinking, how do I connect all these applications and services to the right people at the right moment in time using the right amount of resources? Meet all SLAs, ensure security and save money. So this is the very important part. We just need to meet the SLA, means the site level agreements. We need to give the 99.99% of time, and the resources should be available. There should not be any hanging or any delay in that, and there should not be any latency in accessing the resources on the back end. And with whatever the infrastructure which we are having, like company cannot put more money on infrastructure, means building more servers like that. If there is a more service, I can give it directly, but we just need to have a solution, one point solution for us, so that our entire questioning will be get answer on this. So the questioning is nothing but like this. The result is like growing network problem. Users are on the left hand side, applications on the right hand side, network point solutions in the center. When users are coming with a mobile phone, PDAs, laptops, desktops, and co-locations, they will be reaching definitely they'll be reaching the router. And after that, we will be going with the server load balancer. That server load balancer must be doing red shaping, DOS protection, SSL acceleration, application firewall, traffic compressions, connection optimizations, content accelerations. These all things can be done by the F5. This is a one-point solution we can have. How do we have all the topics can be covered with just one load balancer? We will be having the modules configurations. In this demo, I would like to talk about LTM and GTM mostly. ASM, I try to cover it up. Let me see. LTM means a local traffic manager. GTM means a global traffic manager. ASM means application security manager. So these all coming under that particular environment. Application firewall comes under the ASM. Traffic compression and connection optimization comes in LTM. Content acceleration comes in GTM and other things. SSL acceleration comes in LTM. DOS protection, rate shaping, these are all coming under the ASMs. So this is a one-point solution that server load balancer can be done, can be configured in such a way that multiple modules need to get configured, so that we will be solving all the problems which the customers are facing to reach their applications on the back end. What are the applications? Are the CRM, customer relationship management, SFA, ERP, and so many customized applications which are running in the back end. So how the people will be accessing it so without having any issues, without having any latency, without having any delay in getting there. And the people should be getting that availability has to be there, means all servers should be available for them every time. So even though if you are a perfect administrator, you will not be able to keep that server up and running for 100% all time. So what do? We just need to have some multiple servers installed, either for 4 or 5 servers installed. And that 4 or 5 servers, how do we supply the traffic to that 5 servers and simultaneously? So we require a load balancer for that. Load balancer will pick up the packet from the customer and it will be sending it accordingly to the round robin, or so many methods are there to do the algorithms. We will see it in the next slides. So network point solutions should be coming up with the server load balancer configurations. The next slide. This is the traditional information. We just seen that, and how to fill that: integration, visibility, context, and action. We just need to take all these actions on this. Corporate employees, mobile employees, remote employees, branch employees, customers, partners, and suppliers who are accessing all these things on the back end. Hosted application, corporate data centers, SaaS. These are possible through the unification enables the dynamic infrastructure. This is possible through the FI load balancer, which we are going to configure on this. The next slide. This is an integrated solution. See that security is available, availability is there, fastest applications, which will be handled by the TMOS. TMOS means Traffic Manager Operating System, which is the operating system is running on F5. F5 boxes are operating with TMOS operating system. They named it as a TMOS. Actually, basically, it is running on base is running on a Linux platform. Only CentOS 6 they're running on. And okay, and we have applications which are running on the backend: CRM, database, Siebel, BEA, Legacy, .NET, SAP, PeopleSoft, IBM. You can see every other application which is running on the backend. Every other application can be delivered. The packets can be delivered to them properly by having the security and fastest connections, as well as availability will also be maintained. The customers will not face any issues at all to reach any servers on the backend. So let us go to the next slide. So this is the unified application infrastructure. You can just see that DOS protection, that is a denial of service, DOS and SYN protections, comprehensive load balancing, IPv6 gateway. So BigIP can be configured with IPv6 also. Network virtualizations, dashboard is a resource clocking. So each and everything they are talking about L7 rate. L7, L means layer 7. Layer 7 means in a OSI application layer we will be calling it as layer 7. So we have a content transformations, caching, and TCP Express. Many things which we can configure within F5. It's not only just load balancing. We can do a lot of things. And F5 is coming out with an virtual editions. Virtual editions in the sense you don't need to buy the appliance. Appliance means a hardware box. You don't need to buy any boxes as well. We can get the virtual editions. Means it's a software. We'll buy it from the F5. And we will be installing it in our own VMware or cloud or anywhere we can install it. And we require to meet the requirement of the hardware which has been specified for a particular platform. So BigIP Local Traffic Manager, BigIP DNS, BigIP Access Policy Manager, BigIP AFM, BigIP WAF. WAF means Web Application Firewall, which is a very hot topic which has been discussed on the internet nowadays. And F5 has got a module for that. That is nothing but we call it as an ASM. So any module can be bought as a virtual edition. VE it's called as. Virtual editions can be installed in VMware, and it can be installed in the Oracle VirtualBox, and it can be installed in the cloud operations. I'll just show you the next slide is a cloud. And VE package in the sense it's a virtual edition packages. Data collection device, and virtual edition including LTM, APM, WAF, and a network firewall. And the technical specifications, when you talk about that, there is one more person is joining. BigIP virtual edition. Virtual edition is like which will be able to be configured under the VMware, KVM, kernel virtual machine, community Zen, that is coming under the Citrix, Microsoft Hyper-V, that is also possible, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, OpenStack. Under the OpenStack also we can configure the F5. Google Cloud Platform. Every other platform we can configure the virtual edition of the F5. And what is the minimum requirement? They just given on the right hand side. Maximum throughput is 1 Mbps. Minimum disk space required is 10 GB. Minimum memory required is 2 GB per CPU. And minimum processor required up to like 4 CPUs. Minimum SSL VPN users are 10. DNS can be 10,000 queries per second. Like that we can go. So these are all the virtual edition specifications. When you try to install it in your own platform, in the sense of when you try to install it in any VMware or any KVM or something, we can have this. And on cloud platform, these are all available. AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Alibaba Cloud has also been there. How many of you know about Alibaba Cloud? Chinese cloud. And VMware and OpenStack, everything is possible. And these are the softwares which we will be able to get. BigIP, AFM, APM, ASM, DDoS, hybrid defender, DDoS protection, web application firewall, orchestrator, and virtualization and cloud. We see every other cloud is there. We can talk about that. And software, we will be seeing all these things under this. Hardware platforms has been given. If you would like to buy the hardware, so there are many model numbers are there. 12,000, 2,000 series, 4,000 series, 6,000, 7,000, and 10,000 series are there. So this is the box information I'll just give you. Viperion, it's called as a Viperion. Viperion is called as like a new name has been given for BigIP platform. Normally we say F5 only. And there are so many models are there: 1600, 3600, 3900, 6900, and 8900. This many model numbers are there. So depending on the model numbers, we will be having the Gbps traffic. How many Gbps of the traffic it can handle it? The lower end model starting from 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 6 GB, sorry, 8 GB, and 6 GB and 12 GB. There are this many back-end packets can be processed under these boxes. And accordingly, the core CPUs also has been given on this. Memory will also be there. So in this one, we just need to buy it and we'll have to upload that to software to that. Software can be downloaded from the BigIP website. And by putting the proper licenses on that, we can activate this and we can start utilizing these boxes. It's got an LCD panel. Through that we'll be able to see what is actually going on, and LEDs will be there which will be showing the current status of the virtual server or web servers or your database application servers or something we can do. And the next one is like a platform performance. It's a comparison chart. It's been given. You can just see that maximum throughput, layer 4, layer 7, maximum concurrent connections, maximum SSL traffic per second, maximum SSL as a bulk, SSL concurrent connections, compressions, switch backplane. The switch backplane is a very important one because 14 Gbps is the lower one model. Switch backplane is nothing but that how fast the packets will get translated, and NATed means network address translations and other things, how much faster it will be happening, so that the customer will not feel any difference in accessing the web servers on the backend. So we are talking about the FI only. I'm not talking about the web servers. How do we construct it? That is coming under the server admins. They will be handling all these things. But when it is coming under the FI, we will be specifically, we can talk to the customer by showing this chart. And the latest charts also has come up, but I just used this one's 2 years back, I guess, when I made this. Okay. And the next one, we will be seeing choosing the right platform for our customers. Virtual platform, ADC means application delivery controller. Virtual ADC, best for accelerated deployment, maximizing data center efficiency, private public cloud deployments, application and tenant-based pods. Pod means it's a pod we will be creating, like how many servers are going to be there. One big IP will be handling how many, like that. And keeping the security close to the app and lab test and QA environment, everywhere developments which you can do. Physical is nothing but a box. Buying the box and we'll installing for that. And physical ADC is best for fast performance, higher scale, SSL offload, compressions. So literally I can talk about that. The box which we are buying from the FI will be doing wonder than the box which we are running on our own, because we just need to meet the exact requirement for that capability of that box which can run on that. The next one is a hybrid box, where we can have physical plus virtual also. This can work out in the cloud models. Okay, we can have it on the cloud also, we can have it on the local also. We can redirect the traffic from the cloud to the FI locally, or we can redirect the traffic from locally to the cloud. That is also possible. So that is a hybrid model. FI architecture, I would like to give you, this is the FI hardware. And the TMOS is nothing but on top of a TMOS is running Traffic Manager Operating System. It's a shell based. Availability, acceleration, security, LTM, server load balancer is based on LTM, global server LB is a GTM, link load balancing is an LC, web acceleration and WAN optimization, that is coming under the WAM, web application firewall, that is coming under the ASM, network firewall, AFM. These are all the modules which can be added extra to the FI. Basically, it comes with LTM. Okay. Then application access and SSL VPNs done by the APM, SWG, that is a secure web gateway, web fraud protection, that is WFP, and Silverline. Now they come up with a new idea called Silverline. This is mostly we will be using it on cloud, AWS and other clouds. We will be using this Silverline model. It's another module which need to be installed on the base FI so that you will be able to get the advantages. IP intelligent and reputation services, geolocation database and all things. This is the architecture overview. First, let us start with the local traffic manager, LTM on the right hand side. You can see this is LTM provides intelligent traffic management for rapid application deployment. Access Policy Manager, APM, provides a valuable insight and control over who is on the network. Application Acceleration Manager. This is for accelerations and other things. There is a lot of exercises which are going on nearby home. That means like Air Force is doing some lot of exercise, so the flights are going on. Okay. Application Security Manager, that is an ASM, is advanced application, and things will be done on threat protection will be given. Application Firewall Manager, which you all know that what is a firewall. Global Traffic Manager, that is for a GTM, that is for redesigning the traffic towards the certain area of geographically it will be sending the traffic to that location. That is a GTM. Next slide, we'll talk about Local Traffic Manager, LTM. What is an LTM? So LTM topics are FI overview, consolidating the layers from 4 to 7, means layer 4 is transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, then the application layer. These 4 layers we'll be talking on. FI architecture, setup and licensing, TMOS and networking, basic LTM components, load balancing and monitoring, profiles and persistence, acceleration technologies. Like so many topics are there. How many I can cover it up on this demo? Let me check. So LTM, where we are placing the LTM? LTM, we are placing the LTM in between the users and applications. In the middle, you just see the big IP box is sitting. On the left hand side, the users are there. On the right hand side, the applications are there. So the users will be coming and hitting the big IP, and big IP will be giving the proper traffic forwarding towards applications, and it will give the return traffic also. So scale the application infrastructure, eliminate the downtime, improve application performance, secure your applications and data, increase server capacity, reduce bandwidth, customize the delivery of app according to your need. So these are all local traffic manager can do. And this is a TMOS which is running on the box. So what all the TMOS can do? You can see a lot of big list is there. iRules, we will be seeing it very much. Compressions, resource clocking, universal persistence, caching, application switching, protocol sanitization, high performance SSL, DDoS protections, VLAN segmentations. What else is not there? As a normal operating system which we use, Linux or Windows, which will be doing all these things, will be done by the TMOS also. But we need to learn the TMOS. The commands are very much different commands rather than Linux and Windows commands. The next one. So this is how it has been made, like from internet, how the people are accessing this. SYN acknowledgement and acknowledgement which is coming upon this client data which goes through that. And this is how the traffic has been managed between the client, big IP and the servers. That's what been explained on this. Only FI functions at the levels of ADC, full content inspection, full content slide versus server side optimizations. It has been done, and it means we can just say that the big IP is going to sit in between the customer and the applications like that. So he will be redirecting the traffic towards a proper server. This is a TMOS architecture. TMOS traffic plugins, you can see one by one. Rate shaping, TCP Express, SSL, traffic shield, caching, XML, web acceleration, TCP proxy, third party compressions, and so many things are one connect, TCP Express. We will be seeing many other things on this one. And iControl is iRules are the network programming language. Local traffic manager. And this is how it has been working on LTM. We'll be seeing something on this. More than just a load balancer, a lot of LB methods are there. Composite monitoring is there. Geolocation has been also been there, and much more. Acceleration features are this much. You see the things are getting highlighted here: HTTP caching and HTTP compressions. And the security part we'll be seeing on SSL offload, SYN flood, DDoS protection, and firewall and other things. SSL VPN also we can build it. So what are the load balancing methods? Static load balancing methods are round robin and ratio. Dynamic load balancing methods are least connections, fastest, observed, predictive, and dynamic ratio. So through these methods, we will be configuring the load LTM, means FI big IP, to handle the traffic of the customers when they are come and hit the corporate network inside. Either you can go with the static or you can go with the dynamic. It depends on the applications you will be deciding that. So there is no pinpoint like that. This is going to work out with the solution now. We will be seeing and see the pattern of that, sitting down with the customer, understanding his traffic, when it is going to be more, when it is going to be lesser, and what are the timings it is going to be more and more, like something like that. We just see all things, and we will take out all those criteria and we'll design the network accordingly. Then we will be configuring the methods of load balancing inside. So the load balancing methods, we will just see the static one first. And there is a small animation is there. Enjoy. Hey, it's coming up. Round robin. Round robin means the clients are coming inside from the top and they are client requests are distributed evenly. Round robin means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Very simple to understand. Means first request goes to the first server, second request go to the second server, third, fourth, fifth comes to the first server, sixth come to the second server. It goes like it because we have in the backend 4 servers only. So first 4 goes to the first 4. Second set of 4 will go start from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that it will be going on. Very simpler method of doing the round robin. And I would like to say very saddest part is that 90% of the people are using only the round robin without configuring anything. I'm telling you the truth because I'm speaking from the project point of view. People doesn't understand the load balancing methods. FI is keep on developing so many load balancing methods, but nobody is caring about those load balancing methods. They'll go ahead with only round robin. It's easier. No need to configure anything. By default, it has been picked up the round robin only. Okay, let us see the next one. Oh, sorry. I guess I went faster. Ratio. Ratio is nothing but that. What is the ratio of the thing is going to be like? Ratio 3, ratio 2, ratio 1. Based on the ratio, static ratio, we will be setting up that ratio by seeing the server's capacity. If the server, the first set of server is having the very high CPU and very heavy GB, DRAM and other things, it can process so many requests. What do? We will send that as a statically, we will be sending more requests to that first server. Then less requests to the second server, and then still more less to the other guys. This is like a ratio configuration. This ratio can be based on mostly the hardware configurations of the servers. How much CPU is there, how much DRAM is there, what is the hard disk capacity, and what is the network speed of that particular server. So based on that, we will be doing the ratio calculation. The next topic, we will be seeing the dynamic load balancing. In the dynamic, there are 4 dynamic things are there. One by one, it will be coming up. See that. It's a least connections. First, we are seeing the least connections. Least connection in the sense there are 4 servers are in the backend. Okay, the 4 servers. First server is having 459 connections. Second server is having 460. Third is having 461. Fourth is having 470. So we will be, this least connection dynamic method will forward the query to the 459 because the current connections are lesser than compared with the other 3 servers. This is called as the least connections. Very simple. The next one we will see fastest connections. Next, request to member with the fewest outstanding layer 7 requests. We will be seeing the layer 7 requests. I'll be discussing all these things in the training. Layer 7 requests in the sense application level requests which are coming up. So 10 requests, 17 requests means fastest. First 3 servers can handle very fast because they are having the less request. Last server is having already 17 requests it is handling. So that 17 request server will not be supplied with any more packets to process it. So the FI load balancer will be sending the packets to the first 3 servers because they are having the fastest processing timing. This is also can be clubbed towards the server capacity of memory and as well as the hard disk size and so many things which you can calculate. The next one is observed. Observed will be somehow confusion, but still we can understand this. Less connection ratio is 3, more connection ratio is 2. Members will be based on observed connections with the ratio connections of the 3 connections are met in the sense he will be given a lesser packets. If there is a ratio is 2, in the sense he will be having the more connections. Like that it goes. That is observed. Based on observation of the packets which are handled by the server, this method will be taken. That is called as an observed. The next one is a predictive. Less connection ratio 4, more connection ratio is 1. Predictive, we are trying to predict something like that, which is going to have something lesser. So accordingly, the predictive method has been calculated. These are all completely confusing things. And moreover, if you try to configure in this mode and all like that, we just need to simulate the traffic to see this. That will be very harder. That's why people will be just directly going to the round robin, only very easier to configure and manage also. I'm sorry. Okay, the next one, we will be seeing the priority group activations. Priority group activation is nothing but that we will be keeping 2 set of servers. One is with the priority 10, another is with the priority 5. So priority 10 will be given all the packets to get, served. In the sense, the priority, lesser priority will be like a standby. When there is a priority 10 group servers are failing 1 or 2, then it will be sending the packets to the priority 5. That is nothing but the priority group activation. Priority group activation, this is how this has been there. In the priority 10, there are 2 servers are down. Only 1 server is currently handling it. So we can redirect the traffic to the priority 5, lesser priority also we can utilize it. Like a, what do you say? It's like a fallback mechanism we normally say, HA. You can say high availability. And we'll see something about monitoring the pool members, virtual server profiles, persistence, SSL offload, iRules, very important iRules. Monitoring status, it will be like this. What are the monitors? Means what is the server is doing now, whether it is available or unknown or offline. Accordingly, this colors will be appearing against the server. Okay, by seeing this, we will be understanding that what is the current status of the server. Whether by seeing that the administrators need to inform the server administrators, means the network administrators, FI, who is administrating, they just need to inform the backend server team that, man, this server is not responding at all. I tried to see it out in my GUI of the FI, it's showing that red color diamond and blue color square. These are all very much into problems. So there is been explained on this slide. You can just go through this. If I'm reading all these things, the whole day will go off. So I'll be giving you this all when I'm taking that something. We'll be seeing this in a much detail. So green is what being recommended. Green is should be there always. Means everyone is working fine, so that we can send the traffic to that server. Virtual server profiles. Profiles are created to handle multiple different requests as well. See that a profile defines how virtual server processes the packet it receives. Based on the profile's configured parameters, can be associated with one or more virtual servers. Different profile types, protocol profiles such as TCP, UDP, L7 like HTTP, FDS, FTP, DNS, so many profiles which we can create. And the changes to the parent profile passed on to the child profile. These are all very heavier. Like we will see it in detail later. Persistence. Persistence means how the server is getting reached from the client. Again, one more flight. Okay, now it's gone. Persistence means like, persistence is going to be like whether it is going to stay and keep a cookie on server as well as on the client side. And we will be accessing the same server again, in the sense that page will be immediately loaded very fast. So that same persistence cookie configurations can be made on FI also. That is what is being discussed. Basic persistence method, simple persistence, SSL session ID, cookie persistence recommended for HTTP, like that we'll do. Session initiator protocol also we can do. SIP is used for voice over communications, that we can use. MSRDP, that is a remote desktop protocol for Windows boxes. Universal persistence, such as a session ID, username, and other things also we can keep the records inside the FI load balancer. By doing this and all, you just need to take a proper permission from the customer, because all the net banking sites are using the load balancer. Mostly I just seen HDFC is using the FI only. We've been monitoring that. And HDFC will not accept that to do that session ID and username and other things and all. They will not they will not allow you to store any information on the net banking. So this need to be taken prior, prior permission from the customer to configure the persistence. Else, you just need to leave it out. The next one, SSL offload. This is a very heavy topic and a very beautiful topic. We will discuss that later. Means SSL secure socket layer connections can be terminated on F5 rather than taking it back to the backend servers, which will be processing multiple things. So that we can come across with that. Key exchange, bulk encryptions can be done. iRules. iRules are very important. iRule myth in the sense like people doesn't want to touch iRules at all because it is program based. What this guy is thinking, let's see. iRules are slow. They kill the network performance. Very much wrong. Next, it's a burden to the users to make things granular. There should be check boxes or point and click and like competitors. That is like it takes a lot of time. I'm telling you, when you are not writing the iRules, you'll be going through the 10 to 15 screens to do this all. Then next, only software developers will understand how to write in all the code. No, not the way at all. It's very easy to write the iRules. The next, no one is actually using iRules. It's just a hype. We are using the iRules only in our own entire network. It's very easy for us to do that. And iRules are very key elements in automation tools. Nowadays, every other network equipment, either it is a firewall or load balancer, routers, switches, cloud applications, everything we are doing through automations only. Automations are done by the software tools. That is nothing but DevOps tools we are talking. Okay, next, okay, what is that? Previously something. F5 won't even support. No, wrong. It's a wrong one. What are iRules? Programming language integrated in the TMOS architecture. iRules work at wire speed. Very fast it will work. Based on industry standard tool command language, it has been written on TCL. Very easy to understand this language. Next, provide the ability to intercept, inspect, transform, direct, track inbound and outbound application traffic. Means what I say, whatever you are going to configure the rules and the regulations on pools and servers and everything, it's better. Whatever it is not possible through the CLI and the GUI, we can configure through the iRules. That is what real in FI environment. If you like to make a customized way of accessing the servers in the sense, only iRules will come in hand for you. No GUI will support, no CLI will support. Even FI GUI and FI CLI will not support. FI iRules will support you. That's why. Secret sauce and the key differentiator. Why not just put it in GUI like that? This is just this is how they look like. How the like a GUI, the CL, iRules will be looking like this. When HTTP response is coming, it's equal to 404, redirect to fi.com. Very simple. When HTTP response is there, then go to the header 1, header 2, something like that. We are just taking the packet and it will forwarding it to the proper, redirecting it to the proper page for the customer. So this is a chain of event which is coming up in this HTTP request, client SSL handshake, client accepted, LV selected, HTTP response, server accepted, IP layer. This is how it goes. Client side context and server side context we see. Key elements of iRule. I guess you guys will be very bored by seeing only the iRules and this something. I'm just running on this. So there is a Dev Central technical community has been there. With that, we will be able to get every help on iRules. Dev Central means the development center. There we'll be getting some loads and loads of documents are available, and we can go ahead and get that all informations from that particular site. I'll be giving you all informations. Okay, before going into the certification, I would like to give you a certain I would like to give you small demo for you. Okay, I guess there are 7 participants are there. Okay, nice, good. And let me share, new share, I'll go with that. I'll be sharing my VMware. Please tell me whether you can see my VMware screen. Please tell me. Hello.
Yeah, we are able to see.
Thank you very much. I'm starting this, like Big IP. That is the version is 13. It's a demo piece which I installed it on my own laptop. And we will be doing the same thing when you are coming to the classes also. Like I will be asking you to install it in your PC. That's nice. Else I will be showing it from here. You can watch it and you can do the practice also. I will be giving you the control to that. And now this Big IP 13, I installed it. Version number 13. TMOS version is 13. And this is a virtual edition which I downloaded from the downloads.fi.com. And this requires a minimum 4 GB. I given 4 GB, 2 processors, and requires 2 hard disks, one of 82, one of 20 GB. These are all normally taken automatically on its own. If you like to give it more, you can give it more resources I'm talking. And we have to configure 4 adapters for this. Every adapter has got its own way of doing things. This is for management purpose, and this is for internal web servers. This is the external guys who are coming in. This is used for high availability, means a HA, high availability. With the another box, we can do the failovers and other things. Let me start this Big IP. It's starting, I guess. It's starting. Okay. I'll just go show you the screens. I guess you can see my screen. It's a Big IP version 13.113. That is a thing which is coming up. It'll start in 1 second. It's a normal booting of Linux only. You can just see Red Hat is there. It'll take a lot of time. And see, Big IP, we require at least 3 web servers on this. On the left hand side, you can just see there are 3 web servers are there. I installed CentOS only 1, 2, 3. 3 servers I installed with a minimal OS loading on this. And I using one client also as a CentOS client. So these 3 servers, whenever there is a request comes to the Big IP, it will be forwarding to the servers accordingly. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that it will be doing. Let this, like a Big IP boot. Let me start the other servers also. I'll keep it ready, all the servers one by one. It's a normal Linux only, CentOS Linux, which is a 7, CentOS 7 I am using it. Currently CentOS 8 has come, Red Hat has also come. So let me start the CentOS 2. And the third server also let me start. Guess you can see all my servers, screens, because I shared the screen of VMware. The servers are booting now. First server booted up. Yes. Yeah, it's come to the login. Second server also booted up. Yes, so. And the third server. Let me come to this one. So now you can see that there is a IP address which has been already been there. 10.0.10.128 has been given for the management. Booting may take time. Maximum 1 minute it will take time. And if you like to configure it on a GUI, you require to wait for 2 minutes. Starting HTTPD, cron D, everything is a normal Linux only. So you will be seeing all the modules which are loaded as normal Linux boxes booting. So now we are into the login page. Big IP 13.113 build is something, and the kernel which is used is a 3.10, and it is a platform of 64-bit platform. Big IP 13.1 demo login. Default username is root, and the password is default. And let me see, all the servers are up and running. All are running now. So let me go and try to log into this. I'm logging as root and providing as a default as a password. By default, it has been taken as a default only. That's what I'm doing. Okay, it's under the configuration. It takes some time. Okay. You can just give normal commands as well. IPA, I can give it. So what I do, this screen is very similar, very small. So what I do, I will log in with the putty screen. 10.0.10.128. Can you see my putty screen? Anyone, please?
No.
You are not seeing. Okay, let me share it. Now you can see.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now it is inoperative. It has to come operative. Then we can do something. Now you can just say inoperative, and it is standalone. Standalone in the sense it is a standalone box. It has not been paired with anyone else. It's a single box. Now just see. That is the IP address and all which I configured it for the demo purpose. You can just see ETH 0, Ethernet 0, which is having the IP not configured. Here it is. Management has been configured with the 10.0.10.128 and internal VLAN I configured with the 128, 10.20 128. External VLAN I configured with the 10.192.168.128 and HA VLAN I configured. There are 4 VLANs we need to create. One is the internal, external, management, and the HA. These are 4 VLANs we need to configure. It's still inoperative. It needs to come up online. Please wait. It takes its own time. So now it's saying SFlow agent is down. It takes time. Then it will say that active standalone. It will come. Then we can log into the GUI box. GUI is nothing but any browser will be supporting this to log into the GUI. Now it has become active standalone. So let me start this. Yes, you may not be seeing my. Let me share this. Can you see my Firefox browser? 10.0.10.128. Can you see mine? Can you see my F5 login? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, nice. So the password is default password, that is the admin. Now I just click login. So this is the first page we will be getting it normally. So here I can just say host name and IP addresses. Informations are there. And the date, today's date, it is saying something, I don't know, some date is there. We just need to configure the date properly. Then here in the left hand side, you'll just see a lot of information on this. We can go directly to this system to see the configurations of this. Device configuration general, see that. Host name I configured already. chassis number, CPU count, active CPU, and other things are there. Local traffic, general, persistence, so many things will come up. AWS can be configured here. File management, certificate management, disk management. This is the 2 disks which I shown you on VMware. Boot location is this. The violet color is a boot location. From this HD1, the big IP has been booted now. And the license, I can show you, this has been licensed. June 8th, I given a license on evaluation copy. Big IP is coming with the 30 days evaluation copy for you. We can have 3 license numbers. The 3 license number, we can use it one by one on the every other big IP box or something. That will be given a 30 days. So June 8th, I activated. So July 9th, until then, this box will be working. What all the modules are activated, you can see in here. These are all the modules. Big IP trial, it's saying V means virtual edition. Trial it is saying. You see that every other module has been there. Red shaping, external, SDN service, SSL. Okay, and Big IP V trial, APM, DNS security, SSL. So many modules are activated. And you can just see the platform information. So this is how I just configured this. And management pool on this one, I just configured 10.0.10.128 for the management configurations. And the host name is this, host IP address, time zone. I just need to change it to the time zone of Asia, Kolkata. I can use it as Asia, where it is. It's not coming. Asia, Kolkata. Okay, that's nice. Now I can just click update. Now the time will get updated. Now it's showing 12 p.m. 12.9. Okay, exact timing now. So like every VLAN need to get configured properly. Okay, we can just see through the networking point of view on this one. And there are many other things which we can see it on this by seeing like logs. We can see it from here. Users creations can be done here, and preferences we can make it on this. Like a welcome message and all, we can give it to the people who are logging into this box. And this is a network interfaces. I can show you what are the network interfaces are configured. 3 interfaces are configured on this. And interface, mirroring, LLDP, statistics, and other things we can see. Routing, self IPs, packets, everything we can configure on this. So this is the section which we need to see most. Means from the local traffic, we are going to see the LTM LTM demo here. So we will just need to do local traffic. First, we just need to add the nodes, node list. Yes, I added them already. Okay, this node list has been configured. If you want, I will add it again and I will show you. Let me delete this. Config delete. It's under the pool something. Let me delete the pool first. Delete the pool. There is again a virtual server has been configured. Okay, let me delete the virtual server first. So now I can delete the pools. Deleting the pool. Now I'll go and delete the nodes. Delete. Now it's been done. So now I can configure the servers one by one as a node, which they will be coming into the big IP. The node list I'm here. I just need to create. I'll give the name as CentOS 1. Then I'll give the address as 10.20.11. Yeah, sorry, 10.20.10 I do. The first server, node default. Health monitor is a node default. I can just say click repeat. And I'll configure the second server. The address is going to be 10.20.11. It's a node default. Repeat. Then I'll configure the third. The server IP is 10.20.12. Then I'll just say finished. So 3 servers which are configured now. The servers will not show anything because the servers are not associated with the port numbers. Port numbers means either 80 or 443. 80 is used for HTTP. 443 is been used for HTTPS secure. So what we need to do now, we just need to do the configuration of the pool. Let me configure a pool. I'm creating a pool as normal HTTP demo pool like this. And the monitor is, I'm going to give that HTTP. Monitor is nothing but through the HTTP packet, the backend servers will be checked here and there. There is a frequency of checking timing is there. From the big IP will go and check the backend servers, which will be using the HTTP small script is there. So that is called as a monitor. So we have to configure the monitor so that the server will be checked for the access from the customers. Now see, load balancing method is round robin is a default. So many are there, you can see that. Ratio member, least connection, observed, predictive, ratio, least connection, fastest, so many I think, but we are going to see this demo with a round robin. Priority group, we are disabling it. So when here we need to configure the pool members. The pool is created, the pool numbers need to be attached to that. Let me configure the node list. One by one I will be adding it. CentOS 1, I'll give the port number as HTTP. I'll click add. First server has been added. Now let me go to the second server. Port number 80, port is HTTP. I'm clicking add. Then the third server, click add. So 3 servers are now added. The pool has been created, means the pool name has been given. Monitor is given as a HTTP. Load balancing method is a round robin. Node list, everything has been done. So port number 80 has been configured, priority 0. We are not giving any priority to anyone. Everyone is equal priority. Now I just need to click finished. When I am clicking finish, the things are getting saved. Don't worry, we are not saving anything. But when you just click finish, in the sense you are saving it in the big IP. Now it is coming up. It may take some time because it is going to pick up the information from the backend. So I can just click on this HTTP demo. It's saying available now. We can go to click the members to see them all are green. You see green? Green color in the sense the servers are available to handle the traffic which is coming from the customer, like that. So now what we need to do, we need to configure a virtual server. Virtual server is the one which is going to be given to the customers. The customer will be getting only the virtual server IP. He will be always accessing that virtual server IP to come and get the resources from the backend servers. So 3 servers will be handled by one virtual server IP. Let me go and click on virtual server list and I will be creating. I'll give demo HTTP VS1. VS1 means virtual server 1. Type is a standard one. We can create, that's what I was telling. lot of profiles we can create on virtual server. These are all the profiles which we can create. Now I am going to do with the standard. Source address, I will do it from anywhere. People can come from anywhere. This is a, like I can keep it as like internet facing. Internet facing in the sense that people may be coming from anywhere point of the world. And the destination, I just need to give it on the subnet. 192.168.1.150. Give it. This is the IP which I give it to the people who are coming in. Okay, service port is nothing but HTTP, definitely, because servers are running with the port number 80. So I will configure the virtual server also with the 80. And notify status of the virtual address. Yes, we require that. State is enabled. Then the configuration protocol is TCP. Protocol profile is TCP. Using the current profile, HTTP profile, if you want, we can add it. FTP, RSTP, SSL, so many profiles we can add it to that. Currently, we are not going to do anything. It is a by default, it's a default, whatever it is taking, we are just going with that. And we will go to the all VLANs and tunnels. Source address translation is very much required for how the servers will be contacted, because server VLAN is different and the external VLAN is different. We just need to do some translation from the external VLAN to the internal VLANs. That will be done through AutoMap. AutoMap in the sense, automatically it will map it out from the free addresses of this. I will explain in the sessions. So now these are all not required for us. We are not doing any content related things here. Resources, iRules, we are not doing anything now. Policies, we are not adding any policy. Default pool, this need to be checked out. Here we are getting the HTTP demo pool, which now I created, it's showing the pool information. So that's all. We just need to do only this much to create the demo. What is it? Standard HTTP server. HTTP server means virtual server. I'm telling. Virtual server is a name is given. From anyone can access. To this address they will be accessing. 150 is the address. Service port is 80, and it is enabled. Nothing else I am doing that. Everything is default conditions. Going slowly. Nothing else I'm doing. But here I just need to give the AutoMap on all VLANs and other things. Now I just do the pool selection has to be done. The one pool which we created, that is a HTTP demo pool. Okay, now I just click finish. Now it's ready. It's showing the green color, correct? So if I would like to see it as a mapping, like how the virtual server is mapped to the pool is mapped to the servers in the sense, I can click network map. Okay, now you can see demo server, demo pool, demo servers, all are ready now. So what I can do now is that I will just go ahead and access this server. Means I will be accessing http://192.168.1.150. So I'm getting the welcome to the web server 1. The first server is came up. If I do the refresh, I'll be getting the second servers after some time, not so immediately. Now it is coming as a web server 2. Now it's coming as a web server 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It will be keep on going on. So this is nothing but the round robin, which I explained you, a simple one on this. Okay. If you like to see the monitoring of this one, means how many packets has been monitored on this, you can just go to the statistics directly. You can see that. How I come and I'll show you again. Go to the pools, click the pool list, select the pool, go to the statistics, and you can see that. HTTP demo pool, first, second, third servers, these are all in common partition. How many bits came in, how many bits gone out, and what are number of packet on this one. So we just see that it's a round robin, it goes on. First server has got so many, second server, because we are not properly clicking that. You can get that information by, I'll be running some certain script on that. Through that script, we will be able to see all the packets which are coming and going on this. So this is the, you can just say, you're seeing my thing here like that. So this is nothing but a config mode. I can just do its uname. I can give it, it's like a Linux box. You are seeing it, and the date I can run it on this. It will be showing a normal Linux box. Calendar I can get it. So it's nothing but a Linux only. Okay. So if I see that cat, etc, and what is that? Red Hat release. You can just see that CentOS. It is a CentOS which is running on this one. So this is nothing but like that. We would like to create a demo piece on this one. So there are many other things which we can see. Device management, we can go and we can see the overview of this device trust group and so many things. We will be seeing all these things when we come to the classes of this, and statistics and all we can do. We can get the help anytime on this one. Chapters wise help, you will get it on this. This is about the screen, like we can go to that site and we can look for this. Let me go to that f5.com. This is an F5. So currently there are a lot of things are going on in US. That's why they're saying black, we support the traffic management and agility and everything. We are seeing that. And here you can see the services and other things. And we can download this. Let me go to the Google. F5 trial license. You can click on this. Product trials, virtual edition. Login and register. Click on login and register. Request your key, download the software, launch it out. Like that we will be doing it. But I'll be explaining you everything. We just need to log in with a certain email address and other things. Then we can able to get this all information on this. Okay. So this is about that F5 box. So I just given you only the very minimal things. Local traffic, we are seeing all these things here, monitors and other things. Acceleration we can do on this. And system we can see, I just guess we've seen many things in the systems. We can get the logs over here. System logs, it's coming up with the logs on this. Page 3 pages are there. You can get the next page, like that we can go on this. Sorry. The high availability we can configure it with that next box on this. It's possible. And about that, I would like to go back to the certification point of view. Let me show you that new share. I'll give you the screen. Sharing that screen. I guess you all can see the PPT screen. Can you see it? Can you see the PPT screen, please?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is load balancer. Let me go to that. Monitoring, which also profile. Oh, so many slides we went already. High rules we seen that. Certification is very important. I would like to show you that. That's why I'm taking in the slides. These many certifications are there. You can just see it in my screen. F5, we just need to start with the 101 exam. That is a very basic things which talks about network basics like OS layers, port numbers, applications, like server operating systems and networking based on that one, and how to configure the web servers and other things. Very basic things which are there. Anyone can clearly, very easy to clear this 101 exam. And there is a study materials which is available on the F5 site itself. It is freely, you can download it when you register yourself with any Gmail address. That's very much possible. The next level is going to be the certified administrator 201. We can even go to the sales profession also. I'm not talking about a sales here. We'll talk about the certified administrator 201. You need to clear 101 to go to the 201. That's a 101 is a mandatory for. FI has made it mandatory that the person has to come with a proper knowledge. And a 201, then you can go to some technical specialist track. That is a 301, 302, 303, and 304. After clearing this, any one of this, we will be going into the certified solution expert level. Expert level, it is possible only on 2 tracks. One is security, another one is the cloud. Because cloud is very much in demand, and we are not going for any certification as such. But if you like to get a job on cloud level FI certification or something, you can go for this certification. I'll be giving you details about that one by one. Administrator track, technical professional track, technical specialist track, solution expert track. There are 4 tracks of that. Administrator track is like manage, maintain, do basic fault isolation, install and configure FI products. Technical professional track in the sense skills, understanding, specialized knowledge on FI solutions, allowing you to more effectively contribute to the FI ecosystem. Technical specialist track, that is for designing and development and troubleshooting in a very high level troubleshooting. Like expert track, architecting the solutions, means you will be sitting down and doing the lot of design for the heavy load of the people, like a cloud in the sense like people will be coming up from the any part of the world, so you just need to have that expertise on that. That's why it's called as an expert track. FI 101 exam, application delivery fundamentals. Every certification track begins here. Passing exam 101 ensures candidates have the skills of understanding necessary of day-to-day management of application delivery networks and verifies the candidate has necessary foundation to pursue all further certification tracks. It's a mandatory. Next, 201 TMOS administration, means traffic manager operating system administration. Prerequisite is valid passing score on exam 101 or valid FICTP. Leave it out. Valid exam, we just need to clear it out, 101. This is a second and final exam that must be completed successfully by candidates wishing to achieve FI certified. Means 101, you will not get certification at all. You don't get any certificate. You will get a certificate when you clear 201 also. Means you need to clear 101 also, 201 also to get a certification from the FI. And who can do this? Administrator, big IP status. And passing this exam shows independence in performing day-to-day operations, basic troubleshooting, TMOS-based devices, various application environments. After it has been installed, configured, implemented, individuals may choose to complete their certification journey here or move on to the pursue next level, like that they say. The next level is exam 301. 301 is LTM specialist, and 301B is LTM specialist on maintaining and troubleshooting. So what is that 301A? In the 301A, we will be doing SSL VPNs, like integrating FICTS, BigAP, LTM certification, so many things are there. Cloud and security and other things also will be doing that. Candidate who passing this exam possess understanding and underlying principle of SSL based VPNs implementation, symmetric and asymmetric acceleration, can draw and insight, so many things they will be talking about. But 301 is the very hardest exam. Clearing 201 is very easier. Then 301B is also there. We need to clear both. And the second exam, candidates are required to pass in order to receive FI certification. Again, 301 and 302, 301 and B, if you clear, then you will be given as a technical specialist. And in this one, what do you do here? Candidate understanding underlying principle, SSL based VPN implementation, symmetric, asymmetric, and can draw, insight, integrate LTM into existing network as well as new implementations, something like that. It goes on. The next is 302 DNS specialist. DNS specialist in the sense you can go after clearing 101, 201, and 301. Then only you can come to 302. Right. 302 is for GTM solutions, Global Traffic Manager. There you will come to the 302. 302 is talking about have the fundamental knowledge necessary to application delivery architect and application delivery engineers working with a big IP DNS, including ability to understand the basic operation of the DNS protocol, deploy and test configurations, and troubleshoot and remedy common misconfigurations. DNS services are very hard to clear. Again, it's very hard to clear the exam. And the next one is like 303 ASM. This is for, what do you say? This is for the exam which we can go for application security module. The security module which will be including your WAF, that is a web application firewalls as well. So you need to clear first 101, 201, then 303. You can go to that like this. So what is this covering? Fully qualified to design, implement, maintain BigIP ASM, integrating BigIP ASM with other platforms, and the products in a manner that is application specific and appropriate to organizational practices, policies and needs and other things. So ASM is required. ASM is a very hard to do all the practicals as well, but fortunately I made all the practicals available for the people. I have the lab scenarios. I will be giving you like each and every scenarios. We can test it out in the VMware itself. We don't need to go to any AWS or something to try out all. We can do all these things on local. Next is APM specialist. That's the application program policy, something like that it comes. Application policy manager confirmation. This certification will give you application environment, special emphasis, different type of authentication, authorization, accounting. It comes under the TACAX and Radius. People may be knowing. Terminal access and access control system. Radius is, that is again a login purpose, and all people will be. We will be authorizing the people to come into our network. So we will be using this kind of module to screen the people to come to our corporate network and to screen the network people who are going away from a corporate network. So this is possible on APM specialist course. How many will be going? I don't know. Then the next is security solutions. You see, everything has to be clear. We just see the highlighted on the left hand side: 101, 201, 301 AB, 303, 304. Then you come to the 401 exam. So 401 exam is what's that? Big IP LTM, Big IP DNS, Big IP ASM, Big IP APM, Big IP application firewall, Big IP IQ models, IP intelligent services, web safe and mobile safe. So many security related solutions we'll be seeing on this. Next, cloud solutions. This cloud solutions cloud track can come through only when you clear 201, 301, 302, then 402. That is a cloud solutions prerequisites are given for you. Experts also have the ability to develop and communicate the value of solution that meets the technical requirement in integrating across multiple components in the cloud. So this is about the examination point of view, which we seen that, and this is a link. These all links are, I guess everything is accessible until now because it's a bit old links are there, but still fi.com, we can go to the Dev Central, we can go to the FI University. FI University means you can recruit yourself, enroll yourself to be a student of FI, and they will be charging for that. They will be teaching all these things for you, like all the courses which are we discussed now: LTM, GTM, ASM, APM, cloud, security, and everything they will be teaching you. And you can go ahead and you can register yourself by paying money to them. And partner info. These are all who are all the partners for FI. It's a very big list will come up. Gartner report. How much happy customers are there with the Gartner, means with the FI, and how many customers are installed in all over the world. It will be showing. And there are other so many we are seeing on the down in deployment information, data center virtualization, application traffic management, application brief, solution briefs. So many things which we can do on this. We will be seeing many of the things when we are doing the courses on this. I guess this kind of a demo must be very much helpful to you. I hope so. And this is my contact information. You can just pick it up, which is in the screen. You can contact me for the courses. Okay. And okay, and I can just chat with you people. I would like to have your details also. Would like to have your details. You can give me your mail address and your phone number so that I can get back to you on course details, fee and duration. Okay, Suresh has given, and please everyone give it. I will not be disturbing you so heavily. Please don't worry about that. Okay. If you give me like your phone numbers also, it's nice so that I can talk to you whenever I am free. So this information I will be pasting it on to you so that you can get this information on this. Sorry. Come to this one. I'll paste on this information to you so you can get back to me. You can also take this information. Yeah, I will share the PPT. I'll share the PPT. Please send me a mail to that stuckroute@gmail.com. Please send me a mail I will be giving you the PPT and the video recording of this entire demo session also. You can download it from the Google Drive because it is a near about heavy, around 6 to 7 MB, 10 MB, something like the PPT will come up, and the whole entire video will be coming around 150 MB or something like that. So I cannot send it to you. I will send you the Google Drive link. After this demo, I will be uploading it to the Google Drive. Google Drive link I will send you. I send you. So you can download. And who all given the details? Nikhil has given, Suresh sir has given. Other people, please. Chandru has given. And Palaparthi has given. How many are there? Only 5 are there. Okay, man. Suresh, Chandru. Please give me the other details as well so that I can give you all. Okay, hello. You can send me this quotation raw. Okay. Give me your numbers also, please. I'll send to everyone. Let me send to everyone this my details. You can even give it to your friends and relatives and your colleagues also. They can talk to me on any time on this. They can ping me on WhatsApp and they can come back to me on the Gmail address which I given you. Okay. Thank you. Some more people are not giving. I don't know why. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Suresh, sir. People could not attend this. You can still send a mail on to this. I'll be sharing this to the many other. Yeah, thank you very much, Nikhil. And I'll be sending this information to all the people in the group chat or something, so you can get those all informations on this. Okay, then I guess I have all the information now, so I can go ahead and close this demo session. Everyone in meeting, thanks. Thanks to all. Thanks to all. Okay, then thank you very much. So I will be closing this meeting. Stop sharing. Then I'll be ending the meeting. Bye.